I'll be sharing with you two pieces, both by Andrea Gibson. The first is called Swing Set. It's in honor of Transgender Day of Remembrance, which is today. Are you a boy or a girl? He asked me from all 3 feet of his pudding-faced grandeur. And I say, Dylan, you've been in this class for 3 years and you still don't know if I'm a boy or a girl? Well, by this point, I don't really think it matters, do you? No. Can I have a push on the swing? And this happens every day. It's a tidal wave of kindergarten curiosity rushing straight for the rocks of me, whatever I am. And in class, we learn about the Milky Way galaxy, the sun orbiting around the Earth, or whatever, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and kids, do you know that some of the stars that we see when we look up at the sky are so far away, they've already burned out? What do you think of that? Timmy? So my mom says that even though you've got hairs that grow from your legs and the hairs on your head grow up all short and pokey and you smell really bad like my dad, that you're a girl. Thank you, Timmy. And so it goes. On the playground, she peers up at me through her pink Powerpuff sunglasses and then asks, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I say, "No." And she says, "Oh, so do you have a girlfriend?" And I say, "No, but if by some miracle 20 years from now I ever finally do, I will definitely bring her by to meet you. How's that?" "Okay, can I have a push on the swing?" And that's the thing. They don't care. They don't care. But us, on the other hand, my father sitting across from me at the Christmas table, gritting his teeth over his still full plate, his appetite raped away by the intrusion of a haircut. "What were you thinking? You used to be such a pretty girl." Frat boys, drunken, screaming, leaning out of their daddy's SUVs. "Hey, are you a faggot or a dyke?" And I wonder what would happen if I met up with them in the middle of the night. And then there's always the somehow not quite bright enough fluorescent light of the public restroom. Sir, excuse me, do you realize this is the ladies' room?" Yes, ma'am, I do. I just didn't feel comfortable seeing this tampon at my penis in the men's room." But the best is always the mother at the market, sticking up her nose while pushing aside her daughter's wide eyes, whispering, "Don't stare, it's rude." And I want to say, "Listen, lady, the only rude thing I see here is your paranoid parental hand pushing aside the best education on self that kid's ever gonna get. Living with your Maybelline lips, your Stairmaster hips, your synthetic kiwi vanilla smelling beauty. So why don't you take your pinks and your blues and your boy-girl rules and shove them in your car with your fucking issue of Cosmo, because tomorrow I start my day with 28 minds who know a hell of a lot more than you. And if I show up in a pink frilly dress, these kids won't love me any more or any less." "Hey, are you a boy or a..." "Oh, never mind. Can I have a push on the swing?" And someday, y'all, when we grow up, it's all gonna be that simple. This next poem is called "I Do," also by Andrea Gibson. Bobby, 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 bop, clang, 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 bop, I do, I do, I do, I do. But those motherfuckers say we can't. Because you're a girl and I'm a girl, or at least something close, so the most we can hope for is an uncivil union in the state of Vermont. But I want church bells. I want rosary beads. I want Jesus on his knees. I want to walk down the aisle while the patriarchy smiles. Okay, that's not true. But I do want to spend my life with you. I want to know that 50 years from now, when you're in a hospital bed getting ready to die, I want to know they'll let me in to say goodbye. Because I've been 50 years memorizing how the lines on beneath your eyes form rivers when you cry, and I've held my hand like an ocean to your face saying, baby, flow to me, because 50 years I watched you grow with me through nightmares and daydreams and everything in between. From the day I said, buy me a ring that will turn my finger green so I can imagine our love is a forest because I want to get lost in you. And I swear my heart grew like a wildflower for every hour of the 50 years that I was with you. And that's not to say we didn't have our bad days. Like the day you said, that checkout girl was so nice. And I said, yeah, I'd like to eat that checkout clerk. And you said, honey, that's not funny. And I said, yeah, well, baby, maybe you could take a fucking joke now and then. So I slept on the couch that night. But when morning came, you were laughing. And yeah, there were times you were both half in and half out the door, but I never needed anything more than the stars of your grin to lead me home. For 50 years, you were my favorite poem. And I'd read you each night knowing I might not ever understand every word, but that's okay, because the lines of you were the closest thing to holy I'd ever heard. You'd say, this kind of love has to be a verb. We're paint on a slick canvas. It's going to take a whole lot to make us stick, but if we do, we'll be a masterpiece. And we were. From the beginning, living in towns that frowned at our hand-holding, folding up their stares like hate notes into our pockets so we could pretend they weren't there. You said, fear is only a verb if you let it be. Don't you dare let go of my hand. That was my favorite line. That and the time we saw two boys kissing on the streets of Kansas and we both broke down crying because it's Kansas, and you said, what are the chances of seeing anything but corn in Kansas? We were born again that day. I cut your cord and you cut mine, and the chords of time played out like a concerto of hope so we could feel the rope unwind, feel the noose of hate loosing from people like you aren't welcome here. People like you can't work here. People like you cannot adopt. So we had lots of cats and dogs, and once even a couple of monkeys you taught to sing, hey, hey, we're the monkeys. You were crazy like that. And I was crazy about you. On nights you couldn't sleep, I'd lay awake for hours counting sheep for you, and you would rewrite my heartbeat with the way you held me in the morning, your head on my chest. I swear, my breath turned silver the day your hair did. Like I swore marigolds grew from the folds of my eyelids the first day I saw you, and they bloomed the first day I watched you dance to the tune of our kitchen kettle in our living room. In a world that could have left us hard as metal, we were soft as nostalgia together. For 50 years, we feathered wings too wide to be prey, and we'd fly through days strong and through days as fragile as sandcastles at high tide, and you would fold your love into an origami firefly and throw it through all of my passageways to all of my chambers were filled with lantern light. Now every pore, every trap door of my heart is open because of you, because of us. And so I do want to be in that room with you when visiting hours are for family members only. I want to know they'll let me in. I want to know they'll let me hold you while I sing. Bobby, 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 Bob, baby, I'm so in love with you. Baby, I'm so in love with you. Bobbly, Bobby, Bobby, Bob, dingy dong ding. Goodbye.